Well, hi again, everybody. District play begins in a week for the John Tyler Lions because they have reached the mathematical midway point of their 2012 season with a 4-1 record. Corsicana coming up on October 12th. That game is in Corsicana, and that's coming up on, check that, on the 11th, on October 11th, in a game to be played in Corsicana. That will be the district opener. In the meantime, the Lions are coming off a final non-district game this past Saturday night at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium. They took on a team from Nuevo Leon, Mexico, and Coach Ricklan Holmes is with us. It was a 2010 ball game in the rain. First of all, have you dried out since Saturday night?
Finally, after a couple of change of clothes and drenching out, and the game's over and it's won, and now it's time to move forward.
That was an interesting. The whole thing was interesting, wasn't it? Everything about that game, wasn't it?
Yeah, the weather and the playing of the new team.
Yeah.
You know, just going against a different opponent. You know, knowing that they don't speak very good English over there, but they play some competitive football.
Yeah, they played pretty good football, didn't they?
They really did. It really did. I mean, but you know, looking at film against the teams that they played before, as you could see that they understand the game of football.
Yeah.
They understand how to play it, and they're tough and competitive kids too. So they brung that to them. They brung that to us Saturday.
And now you were telling me before, instead of speaking very much English, they spoke virtually no English.
Virtually
right?
no English. They had one coach on the staff that was designated as an English speaker and translator, and he's not the head coach, but he is one of the assistant coaches, and he's the only one on the team that spoke English.
All right, so did you talk to him much before the game?
Yes, me and him, we communicated a lot through email and through telephone.
Mm-hmm.
They called me Friday night when they got here around 10, 11 o'clock at night, and I talked to him Saturday morning before they was getting ready to wake up and go through their pregame routine.
Did they stay in Tyler or did they stay in Dallas?
Yes, they stayed somewhere here in Tyler. I don't know the exact hotel that they stayed in, but we made some accommodations for them to stay here in Tyler.
How many players did they bring with them?
They brought approximately 65 kids with them.
Really? Okay.
Yes, including coaches and stuff like that, bus drivers. I think they had 2 bus drivers per bus so that they could have a straight through shot driving back.
Now let me ask you this: Did they go home because they have played mostly all American teams, right?
Yes.
For a long stretch. Did they go home at all, or did they just basically stay on the road?
No, they went home. They went home and came back. So every time they played here in America, they would go back, practice during that week, and come back. Well, now their preseason is over because we was their last preseason game.
Okay.
Now they're going to start their national play in Mexico.
Did he say anything about? I'm just curious. Did he say anything about the quality of teams they'll face down there? I mean, I would think playing you guys and some of the teams that they played, they should be loaded for bear when they play their own regular season, shouldn't they? I mean,
yes.
they'll not see anybody anywhere close to John
they
Tyler.
said that's the main reason to want them to come to the States to play American football is because of the competition that they face in the States versus what they'll face when they start going through national play. It's maybe 1 or 2 teams down there besides them that actually are the competitive level that we are here in the States.
How'd that work? I mean, if nobody spoke English, and I know the Tyler chapter, I mean, there may be a few of those guys that speak Spanish, but was there any Spanish spoken, or was it all done through a translator?
Everything was done through the designated American translator that they have on their team.
All right.
And they was the one that spoke to the referees, and they spoke to me, and they spoke to the kids and stuff, so just to make sure that, you know, there's a line of communication between us and them.
And as far as you know, there was no trash talking, but even if there was, you couldn't understand it anyway, right?
You wouldn't understand what they were saying anyway.
All right. I saw your quotes, though, after the game. You were not particularly happy with the way your guys played, were you?
No, I wasn't. And that comes with, you know, the climate of the weather. And I tell the kids all the time, there's the only thing that we can control is ourselves. You can't let elements take control of what you physically and mentally should be doing. And they let that take control of them Saturday night. And I was disappointed in that, and I expressed that to the team. And like I said, Saturday night after I spoke to them, I'm going to go to sleep and I'm going to wake up and it'll be a whole new day.
Yeah, 20-10, you won the ball game. You played, though, all the way up through the pros. When you played in the elements, you know, I've heard it said the kids love to play in the rain.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's kind of hard to play football in the rain sometimes, isn't it? And do the stuff that you want to do?
It's only as hard as you make it in your head. You know, I was going through the course of the game. I remember playing in the rain, and now I was out there coaching in the rain. And I look back on it, I see now why I enjoy playing in the rain, because when you got equipment on, you really don't have a lot of stuff to worry about except for the game that's going on the field. When you have regular street clothes on, you worry about, well, my feet are getting wet now. Now I can't see because this is fogging up. But when you're playing football, you're playing football.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that you should be worried about at that particular time. Just like in life, just living. When you live, the only thing you worry about is breathing. When you go to school, the only thing you're worried about is making A's and B's. When you're out there on that football field, I don't care if the wind is blowing sideways and the wind is going directly in your eyes.
See ball, go get ball, right?
See ball, go get ball. And I'm glad that we faced that element early so that the kids can now understand what they physically and mentally need to do to be successful in that type of atmosphere.
Yeah, might have to see it again.
You might have to see it later on down the line. You're right.
All right, let's talk about what went right. Starting with the offense, what went right Saturday night?
We was able to throw the ball even in the weather that we faced Saturday night. We still was able to throw the ball and complete some passes downfield and make some big plays like we're used to doing offensively. Running the ball, we sustained a couple of drives, but then we had ball security issues, and that's just something that you just have to fix and move forward on. But as far as offensive goes, they took control of the game the way that they needed to. I was very surprised and pleased with the way my offensive line played in this type of weather. They're getting better, and they're getting better each week, and that's what you want to continue to see.
And running the ball, though, the numbers indicated you didn't run the ball as well as you wanted to?
No, we didn't. We didn't. And that was because of mainly the ball security issues. When we had the ball in our hand and we were sustaining drives, we was running the ball pretty good. But we had a couple of fumbles here and there, and that's basically what, tweaked our numbers the way that they look.
And defensively, how'd you do?
Defensively, guys made plays. Great defensive scheme once again this week by Barry Anderson, just putting the kids in a position to make sure that they are able to play football. I think that we played fast. I think we played smart. The only thing that I didn't like about that game was a couple of missed tackles. And going back, looking at the film Sunday morning after I got finished watching it, a lot of those missed tackles came from us trying to make plays happen, trying to strip the ball, going after the ball instead of wrapping up the ball carrier. And, I understand that the kids are trying to make some things happen, but at the same time, we got to make sure we do the things that need to be done to be successful.
I think a lot of people expected you to win that game big.
Yeah.
Did you expect to win big?
I expect to win. I didn't expect it to be a huge win because just looking at the film on those kids and seeing how competitive they are, I knew they was going to bring us a good football.
Was there ever a time when you thought we could lose this game?
No, mainly because I know the flow of my kids.
Right.
I know what they're capable of doing, and the thing about this year and previous years is these kids don't really know how to lose yet. The only thing they really know how to do is do the things to win. And they're figuring it out each week, a different way of doing it. And Saturday they showed a different way of winning a football game.
If you were, this is probably not a fair question, but if you're going to name an MVP at the first through 5 ball games, you'd have to seriously consider Tyus Bowser, wouldn't you? For all that he's done,
for everything he's
done,
done.
Both sides of the ball. Everything he's done. Wouldn't you have to consider him? Yes,
it's going to be a close toss-up between him and Greg Ward.
Yeah.
Greg is our quarterback, and he's putting up some tremendous numbers at that position. But then also Tyus. Tyus playing both sides of the ball, and several positions on both sides of the ball. He's played linebacker on defense and defensive end. He's also our snapper, and then you look at the offensive side of the ball. He plays quarterback. He's also lined up at the running back position. He's also lined up at the wide receiver position, and he's been successful at every last one of those positions so far. That just shows, the athletic capability that he has and what he can do when you put him in situation to be successful.
Now, and he had a scoop and score fumble recovery.
He did, and that's just a heads up play by him. That's something that you go through drills to show them how to pick up and scoop a score, but just the awareness to not just fall on it, but know that you can actually get it and take it the distance. That's just basic knowledge of football.
Now, and you also got a field goal the other night from, I think, Benitez, is that right?
Yes.
And I bet that meant a lot to him, to be able to kick a field goal against a team from Mexico. I bet that was really cool for him.
And not only for him, this is really the first week that Benitez has been fully healthy. He started out from a soccer injury that he had sustained from last year. So he's been slowly becoming back to the Benitez that we had from last year. So with him being healthy this week, going into this week's game, that meant a lot to us. Just basically having him back.
All right, through 5 ball games, you are 4-1. You could easily be 5-0.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you made the progress you wanted to make, or are there still things that you're not happy with?
I believe that we have progressed a lot. I do believe that. The thing that I'm most happy with is that we hadn't taken any steps backwards.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything that we've done up to this point has been moving forward, and we've been taking care of all those mistakes that we had been making that we're not making anymore. And yes, we're making mistakes. We're still making mistakes, but we're making different mistakes. So that's the best thing about it. You're not repetitively making the same mistakes over and over again. And
you look at you beat 2 teams that beat you last year.
Yeah.
Lufkin and Lee.
Yeah.
So that's a step forward. And you didn't play Horn last year, but that's an old district rival. You've beaten 3 5A football teams so far through non-district. Mm-hmm. What does that mean to this group, just from a confidence point of view?
Confidence level, that just lets you know that you can play with anybody in the state of Texas, no matter the classification, 4A, 5A.
If you're doing what you need to do.
If you're doing what you need to be done to win football games. And our kids are starting to understand that. They're getting that mentality back in their system, you know, that if we go out here and we do the things we need to do, that we're coached to do, that we're taught to do, there is no reason that at the end of this game we shouldn't have a W next to our name. And that's the mind frame, that's the mentality that I'm trying to get back installed in these kids. And every coach in America is trying to get installed in their kids, is that mind frame to win football games. Try to win football. Don't try to figure out how not to lose a football game. Figure out how to win a football game is what I'm trying to teach them to do.
Injury-wise, I heard you say before we went on today, you got through that game
despite
the weather and all the slipping and sliding going on out there.
Yeah.
You got through pretty well, right?
Got through, no injuries, thank God once again. And, you know, our kids are getting back healthy. Like I said, War's about 95% going into this game. Now you give him a whole week of, you know, going through light practices like we do on a bye week. Now he's back to 100%, getting ready to go into Corsicana. And then all the rest of them, like I said, Benitez is now back. Mm-hmm. That was Gimpy. And the rest of the guys, you know, just bangs and bruises. Basically, they just need some time.
Now, since slipping and sliding, really our new turf held up pretty well, didn't it?
It did. I was very pleased with the way that the turf performed in that type of weather with that rain coming down.
Like so I misspoke. Really, there wasn't much of that, right?
No, it really wasn't.
Ball's wet, but the field was
good. The ball was about 20 pounds heavy last night. Greg came to the sideline. He said one time, he said, "'Cause it feel like I'm throwing a brick." So, but with that weather coming down like that and that type of atmosphere, I think the kids performed well, and they came out with the win like we wanted to.
Yeah, it's one of those games that they'll remember, won't they?
Yeah, they're going to always remember this game. I mean, not just because of the rain, but because of the team that we was facing, coming from another country. Yeah.
All right, let's roll some tape. Again, Coach Holmes brings along game video. UANL, it's a very long name, but the team is from Nuevo Leon, Mexico, and it was at Trinity Mother Frances Rose Stadium on Saturday night. You're in the blue uniforms here.
Yeah, that just shows the pursuit of the ball from the defense on that one right here. This first play right here, a little swing pass, got it out to Fred, and you can show his athleticism, good block at the edge, and work upfield and keep the ball moving forward.
They had some size too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. They had some nice size kids, athletic kids too. This just shows the athletic ability by DeQuante Woods. You know, this kid right here, both sides of the ball, two-way starter, coming into his own as a football player right now.
He had the pick 6 against Lee.
Yes, he did.
2 weeks ago,
yes, he did.
3 weeks ago.
And he's a versatile player. I mean, he plays multiple positions also. Probably going to start looking at him play a lot more tailback as we get into the district play.
Big hit there delivered.
Yeah. Great play by Tyus right here. It just shows you what he does when he's at the edge and he's doing this.
Got those long arms, hard to get around him
speed,
too, right?
size.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he's getting recruited by a lot of people. Great ball right here by Greg, and tracking the ball down by Darren Flowers and doing the rest with your feet.
Yep.
Getting in the end zone.
All right, good stuff.
And Darren is also, he's coming into his own, two-way starter once again, just like DeQuante. And he's able to perform on both sides of the ball and get it done. And this is the one deal about what we've been working on. Coach Moore has done a good job on setting these kids up, getting them the knowledge that they need on special teams. And we're finally working out the kinks, as far as getting downfield, making sure we stay in lane. And when you start an offense out on the 10-yard line, that's a good deal right there.
Absolutely. All right, back on offense. Screen pass.
Right here to Reggie Gibson. He's coming back. He was a little gimpy last week, and he's coming back a little bit more healthier this week. The pursuit and the aggressiveness from this defense this year has just been simply amazing up to this point.
There you go again.
Another great play coming from the backside. We got to see a lot of play out of Darius Amy. He had sustained a concussion earlier this year, and he had been out, and now he's back, and he's in full swing again. As you can see, DeQuante Woods was in the backfield a lot Saturday on the defensive side of the ball. Great stop right there to put the ball back in our offensive hand.
There's your strip right there.
This is the scoop and score by Tigre. Showing a little bit of speed.
Yep.
Versatility.
Well, just a nose for the ball on what to do in a situation like that, too. Here it is from a wide angle.
And the thing you tell kids now, we're in front, don't try to block somebody, Just run and make a convoy.
Yeah.
Interception right here.
Who got that one?
That's Elliott Hart.
Elliott's an old veteran back there. He knows what to do with it.
He knows what to do with it. Good pass right here to Fred. Just going up, tracking the ball over to the DB, making a good catch. Field goal by Benitez.
And as it turned out, you needed those points, 20-10 the score. By the way, for folks who want to know, you're going to play these guys again next year. They're coming back to
and they'll be coming back to Rose Stadium. Not quite sure if the game is going to be on Saturday again or Friday. I think it really depends on the way our schedule rolls next year, because I think we're playing somebody different in the Classic, and then you got to go to see because one of their games that they played this year was already at the 2-year extension, so I think they're going to have to switch it or they're going to renew it. And if they renew it, then we're probably going to go back to the same deal.
Do they? I'm just wondering, their travel expenses. Do they must have a big travel budget to be able to do this?
Well, yeah, like I said, they're one of the top teams down there in Mexico, so they get a lot of support from the country of Mexico.
Right. Yeah, okay.
And they support them on their travels, and they raise a lot of money for them to come over to the States and compete.
I wonder if their kids play soccer too. I mean, like
yes, they do. A lot of them are actually on a national team that won some kind of a cup.
Okay.
And I think it was like 10 or 12 of the kids that played Saturday were on that team.
Okay. So they're good athletes, and it's amazing though, football in a country that didn't know existed 30 years ago, maybe.
Well, yeah, they call soccer football too. So,
right.
You put those two together, and with the athletes that they have right there, being able to do the things they're able to do with their feet, now you put a little bit of knowledge of football in the game, nice sized kids, and you just try to put them in position to help win some football games.
Well, that's a good story, and it's good that you got a chance. You guys get a chance to do something like that. Now it's back to business. What do you get done in an open week? Not an off week. That's the wrong thing to say, because nobody's off.
No, nobody's off.
But an open week. You have a game this week. What do you do now?
Basically, what you do is you shorten your practices. You still have the same type of practices that you normally have, but now you just break them up into phases. So not only do they get rest, but now we get time to actually focus on more smaller details than we would with the time constraint that we normally have leading up to a Friday game.
Can you kind of go back over, kind of start over again on a couple of things?
Yeah, and a lot of stuff you go back to the basics on, as far as defense and offense. And you give the kids time to wind, I guess you could say wind down, so they can wind back up going into that next week, because, like I said, this is now where it's all for the marbles. It's not just a win or lose record. It's about who's going to be playing later on after the season. Now. And also, it goes towards our second goal, which is win a district championship. So now that's what we're working for now.
And if you were going to make, not that you need to because you've got a fairly veteran team, but if you were in a position where you needed to make some personnel changes, some significant changes, this would be the week to do it, wouldn't it?
This would be the week to do it. This would be the week that you would know whether there were some guys at the JV level that you can move up to help you. I also just let you know about some guys that's on the varsity level that may not be getting, the work time that they're going to need to get. So you might need to move them down. But our coaching staff done a great job evaluating these kids early before the season started, as far as with the two-day practice and the summers deal. So with that being said, there's not going to be a lot of change with us.
And you don't carry a bunch of kids anyway on the varsity, so there's not a lot to change.
At any from my remainder of the time that I'm going to be here at John Tyler or anywhere else, I'm never going to carry more than 53 kids. I'm like an NFL roster. You got to make 53-man roster because with that number, you provide yourself with depth. And you provide yourself with talent. And it's not a overflow of talent, because now you got people that are 4 and 5 that need to be playing at the lower level to sharpen their skills versus the true backup guys that are now not really backups, but they're more rotational guys. There's really no such thing as a first team, second team anymore. It's guys that either can play or they can't play. So
yeah, we give on the radio, we try to do a starting lineup, but really that's almost been rendered obsolete.
It really has.
By the way games are played, you can call a kid a starter, but that doesn't necessarily mean he'll take the first snap. Depending on personnel groupings, you might not have any running backs in the game for the first snap, right? I mean,
it's just
start a ball game, right?
Just like the Horn game. Greg is the listed quarterback starter,
but he didn't start.
But Ty started the game. It's
right.
One of them deals. Like I said, you have guys that can play those positions, and you want to always put the best guys out there during any given time to play that position. And right now, we have some very capable guys that are able to come in and give other guys rest, but continue to have the success as those guys that started out the game.
All right, but we'll get into it more next week, but a word about Corsicana. Now, they made a deep playoff run last year.
They really did. I think they went as far as we did last year. I think they went to the semifinals last year also.
Pretty good football team.
And they had a real good football team last year, but they got plagued with some injuries early this year, and it's kind of, dampened what they already had going into this season. But a lot of those guys are going to be back coming against us.
Yeah.
So
is this their off week too?
Yes, it's going to be their off week also.
Okay, all right.
So I expect them to, be back to full form, getting ready to play us.
So that makes the first district game, first rattle out of the box, going to be pretty tough, isn't it?
Pretty tough.
On the road, no less.
On the road, got to go down to Corsicana. And, in previous years, we hadn't always had success playing in Corsicana, playing a couple of ball games down there.
Yeah.
So, we got to make sure we have our mind together. We have to make sure our game plans are nice and bolted down and get ready to go down there and play some football against the Tigers.
We've got a few minutes here. Let's kind of go back over what you've done so far. Let's start with that Lufkin game. That was the season opener, 5A football team that's beaten JT more than JT's beaten Lufkin in recent years. So beating them to open the season, what did that mean to you?
Basically get the first game out of the box out the way. You always have that sort of nervous feeling to see how your kids are going to do in a real competition, not just a scrimmage, but where it goes for a win and a loss. And I think our kids showed up well against Lufkin. They showed that they were prepared. They showed that their knowledge level was there. And we played a good football game. We won it.
And then the next game was the ball game. Let's see, I'm trying to look at put my reading glasses on here. Was it the Lancaster game? Was that the second game?
That was the second game.
Second game, and they beat you.
Yeah, we went down there and we let the game get out of control on our own terms. We made a lot of mistakes that we didn't make that first game. We made that second game, and it ended up costing us a football game. We turned it around the second half to come back to try to win the football game, and we just fell short. And our kids learn from that, and they understand that, there are little things that become big things, and they can cost you a football game.
Learn some lessons out of that.
Yeah, they did.
Right?
Yeah, they did.
You don't want to. There are no moral victories. You're not into
no
moral
moral
victories. But sometimes you can learn a lesson.
Yeah,
right?
you can learn from everything. You can learn from a win, and you can learn from a loss, about the same as you would in anything else. So, yeah, we didn't want to lose, and we didn't want to lose early.
And you were number one at that time.
It was number one at the time. And
did that make a difference, you think?
No, I don't think it made a difference because I don't shy away from that with the kids. I let them know that, these are just rankings.
Yeah.
At the end of the season, that's what a real ranking is. Whoever is holding up that gold ball in December, that's the real number one
Right,
team.
absolutely.
So all this stuff right here, like I said, is more for the media. It's more for the fans. In some cases, is for the football teams also because that lets you know that, yeah, I'm the big guy that everybody wants to come after, but it's still about playing games on Friday.
And then the emotional win over Robert E. Lee in Week 3. What did that mean to this football team? Because you had said that one of your goals was to be the so-called city champion, and you got that done.
Yeah, I was glad the kids went out there and they performed the way that they did. Outstanding defensive effort by our team. Offense was able to do the things that we wanted them to do with the ball. And our kids play hard, they play fast, and they play with confidence. And that's something that I hadn't seen in recent years since I've been here when we played Lee. It seemed like our confidence level was never there. And the way the kids came out and they played against them, I was very proud and I was happy with that.
And good for your seniors to get that win.
Good for them to go out on top. Good for them to go out on top. I remember one of our seniors in the locker room, he was talking about, I remember them going through their media guide and everybody said, what's their greatest moment? They said it was beating John Tyler. And one of the seniors was like, well, yeah, we're going to make sure that's not their media guide.
Nobody says that next year, yeah. All right, well, that's okay. And then the Horn game, that was kind of a wild one. Horn beat Lee this past week, so we know they're pretty good. And you beat them 35-30 in kind of a wild ball game. Talk about that.
Going against another, great 5A opponent once again. I think they're going to make a real good run, not only to be a district champion, but also to be a state champion. Coach Webb has done a great job with them young men, getting them prepared, putting them in the positions where they need to be successful. I think before he got there, a lot of those kids, they had the athletic ability. I think they were just in the wrong positions. And when he came in, he adjusted things well. And for the past couple of years, they've been doing real, real good. And this year, I don't expect anything different from them.
All right, Coach. Congratulations on the good start, and we'll see you next week, okay?
All right, appreciate it.
All right, again, Coach Holmes and the Lions are 4-1. The non-district portion of their season is over. District play begins, I think I said earlier, October 11th. Wrong, October 12th. It is a Friday night, October 12th, JT at Corsicana, and the game is at Tigre Stadium, which is a great facility in Corsicana, and the Lions will play that game at 7:30 on the night of the 12th, and it's the district opener, so that makes it a very big ball game, and JT deserves and needs your support as they head to Corsicana to open district play. For Coach Holmes and the Lions, I'm Bill Coates. Thanks for joining us.